Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025, Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, we'll continue talking about so many topics. And of course, President Trump, it is a holiday week, but President Trump is not slowing down, not at all. There he is in Mar-a-Lago holding court yesterday, meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky. And today he met with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And they talked tough on Iran. And they also talked tough on Hamas, saying Israel has lived up to the peace plan. Now it moves to phase number 2. And phase number 2 means that Hamas must disarm. And this is what Trump said, that time is running out for Hamas if they don't do it.
If you don't see Hamas disarm in that short amount of time that you're giving them, can you tell us what the next steps would be?
It'll be horrible for them. Horrible. It's going to be really, really bad for them. And I don't want that to happen. But they made an agreement that they were going to disarm. And you couldn't blame Israel. By the way, we have other countries that will come in and do it. They said, let us do it for you if they don't. Countries that were with them wanted the deal to be made, agreed that they would disarm, and now if they say they're going to disarm, that's fine. If they say they're not going to disarm, those same countries will go and wipe them out. They don't even need Israel. You know, we have many countries, 59 countries that are in agreement. This is a real peace in the Middle East, and Hamas is a small part of it, but it's still a part of it. But we have 59 countries that signed on, big countries, countries that are outside of the Middle East, as you know the Middle East. They want to go in and wipe out Hamas. They don't want Israel. They don't need Israel. They want to do it because it's the right thing to do, because they were for the deal based on the fact that Hamas pledged, they swore that they were going to disarm. Now, if they're not going to disarm, those same countries will wipe out Hamas.
He says it will be really, really bad for Hamas, and the clock is ticking. And you know Hamas saw what President Trump did to Iran. You know what President Trump is doing to Maduro. Clearly, there is a big, loud and clear warning sign coming through. Trump also praised Netanyahu big time and said that Israel probably wouldn't even be on the map if it were not for the courageous leadership of Netanyahu after October 7th. Here he is with Netanyahu standing right next to him. Here's President Trump.
Look, he's a wartime prime minister. He's done a phenomenal job. He's taken Israel through a very dangerous period of trauma. Israel with other people might not exist right now, if you want to know the truth. That's a pretty big statement, but it's true. I feel that. You had the wrong prime minister. Israel right now would not exist because they were met with a force the likes of which very few countries could have handled. And we worked together, and we were extremely victorious, to put it mildly. Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them.
I agree with President Trump that Israel might not exist. Think about that moment, and he's absolutely correct. Israel, if it was a different prime minister or if it was a different U.S. president, maybe even two, Israel would really feel like it would have to go it alone. Imagine if it was Joe Biden. Remember Chuck Schumer criticizing also Netanyahu at all these different turns. And then, of course, let's not forget Zohran Mamdani, who's about to take over as mayor. He gets sworn in Wednesday night / Thursday morning at midnight. That's when he gets sworn in privately and then publicly at 10 a.m. And here's just a little bit of what he has said about Netanyahu in the past.
Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the U.S., unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
What a bunch of gobbledygook. In other words, yeah, I'll arrest Netanyahu. I was curious, is Netanyahu going to come this trip? He's right now still in the United States. He's staying in Florida, though, it looks like, or at least nearby, and not planning at least to come to New York for the next few days. That would have been interesting. I would have loved to have seen him sit front row and watch Mamdani and just glare at him and see what Mamdani would try to do against and say, what, are you going to tell the NYPD to arrest Mamdani, arrest Netanyahu surrounded by Mossad and everybody else? That would be an incredible, incredible moment. And just a little bit ago, Eric Adams, who is still the mayor, of course, for the next 2 days, he is coming out and saying we cannot normalize anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism must be condemned. It must be fought head on. You cannot normalize it. Obviously, a gesture and a comment clearly to Mamdani and others who have made some very vile anti-Semitic comments in the past. And here's one from Zohran Mamdani. It wasn't that long ago where he was trying to rally up the crowd to stop any U.S. military funding to Israel.
Hello, everyone! Who is ready to end U.S. military aid to Israel? Who is ready to end $3.8 billion in annual military aid? My name is Zohran Mamdani. I am the assembly member for the 36th district here in New York State. That is Astoria and Long Island City. And I am proud to be here at this protest. I am proud to stand unapologetically for the freedom of Palestinians. It is at the core of my politics.
That's what we're worried about, that it's at the core of your politics being anti-Israel. Democratic Socialist of America platform. And again, he is about to be mayor now in a little over 2 days. Unbelievable moment. I never thought in my lifetime we would have a Democratic Socialist, anti-Semite, anti-NYPD about to become mayor of the biggest city in America. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Susan in Corning on line 4. Go ahead, Susan, your thoughts tonight.
Hey, as you were speaking about what the main concerns we might have about this overtaking of the mayoral by Mamdani, but zombies, whatever. We can't lose track that he was endorsed by the socialist, communist teachers unions.
That's right.
And I've been following this. And actually, I got on the air to speak with Cuomo about this. And that, in 2001, Bloomberg was able to take back the education department under the mayoral. Now, Mamdani wants it to go back to the school boards, where there will have his little army out there that will be endorsing and, propagating the bad curriculum, the non-learning, non-math, non-reading, and that he wants to get rid of charter schools, which are public schools, but they have performed very well, especially for minorities. Even Mayor Adams actually jumped on the bandwagon and about that, because the reading scores and performance in the charter schools, which are not, they do not have to follow the rules of the teachers union.
Right. No, Susan, you hit it on the head. So just to sum it up, you hit it on the head that he is saying, okay, let's allow sort of the teachers groups to be able to decide a lot of these things. And of course, they don't want charter schools. They're opposed to it. And he has not been pushing for charter schools by any imagination. The Young and Gifted program, too, remember, he's not a fan of that either. There's a lot of things that you have to wonder. And you're right. He gets the endorsement. Then he says, okay, we don't need mayoral control of the schools. I don't find these things to be coincidence. You hit it right on the head, Susan. And that's also not good news, I don't think, for students either. I think we got to give them the best ability to learn, and there also should be control over the program. And clearly the teachers and others, these union reps more likely also want the control. So there's a lot of issues here, and that's why we got to follow it. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another big, big issue with Mamdani that a lot of people are shaking their heads about. There's no doubt about it. Let's go to Jerry in New Jersey, line 3. Go ahead, Jerry, your thoughts.
Hi, Rita. I think it's time for the Republicans to go on the offense and do something bold for once and come out, and they can do it. And I'd like to explain that, because a lot of people think there's statute of limitations defense. There is in criminal trials, but not in civil.
Now, where do you think they should go on the offense? On what?
Ilhan Omar, I think the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services have probably already referred her to the Department of Justice for investigation about her application when she became a citizen. Now, there's a statute of limitations for criminal acts. We cannot put her in jail. There is no statute of limitations for civil denaturalization and deportation. And you only have to get in front of it's a U.S. District Court judge. It is a trial, bench trial. If you get the right judge and you got some evidence, you'll get a fair outcome. Now, here's the thing. People have to know, okay? There's a lot of misinformation out there. Civil denaturalization, I'm going to tell everyone out there, has no statute of limitations. I'm going to give you 3 examples that Trump deported 3 people, high profile, and I'll name them, 2018, and they did their applications for citizenship 15, 20, 25 years earlier, one of them. There's no statute of limitations. Now, here it is. Last name Singh, S-I-N-G-H, 2018, deported. Baljinder Singh. Sammy Chung, C-H-A-N-G, 2018, deported. Norma Borgono, B-O-R-G-O-N-O.
All right, but the difference is, I don't believe any of those were representatives, were members of Congress.
No. But there's no exception to that.
No, and you bring up a great point, Jerry, because I agree with you that, I actually will take it even one step further, Jerry. I believe that members of Congress, so often they are given a pass, and I believe there should be a higher standard by members of Congress who are elected to key offices in this country, or other representatives in general. I think that they should hold a higher standard, because they're role models. They're supposed to be for, I would imagine, for citizens. They should also be squeaky clean if they're running. Obviously, there's mistakes on all sides. You can look at George Santos and others. But the bottom line is, people should have a very high standard. It has to be a fair standard. That's the other thing. You look at what happened to George Santos. I'm not agreeing with what he did by any means, but then you bring up Ilhan Omar. If indeed she did, some of her comments, I think, go against, what our American values are. If indeed she married her brother to get here, that's fraudulent, right?
Right. Rita, she has defenses. I'm not saying she doesn't have defenses. What's annoying me to no end is the amount of misinformation about the statute of limitations defense. There's no such defense in a civil deportation trial.
I hear you. By the way, but a lot of people are saying not even the statute. A lot of people are saying, well, it's a member of Congress, and they seem to be giving a lot of people free passes just because of their position. And I contend not just the statute of limitations, which you're saying is not even relevant. And I think that's a very good point that you're making, that it's not relevant in this case, that there isn't a statute, to your point. And I think that's a powerful point. But also, I contend that if you're a member of Congress, the standard should be higher. In other words, if you violate it, it should be a quicker decision whether to deport or do some of these other things. The fact that these people are going around, they're stirring up trouble, because you know what happens in these foreign countries? They're playing these clips from Ilhan Omar. They're playing clips from Rashida Tlaib. They're playing clips from a number of AOC and these others saying, oh, look, they agree with this one. Rashida Tlaib was condemning Israel on the floor of Congress. Guess what was happening? They were playing it in Gaza. They were playing it all over social media saying, look, the members of Congress in the United States are with us, just not President Trump or just not Israel. I mean, come on. They use it for propaganda, and that's why I think the standard should be even higher. And I mean it more easily to have sanctions or deportation if need be, like you're saying. And I hope a lot of people are listening, Jerry, because you're making some great points that statute does not stand. It's irrelevant, but they have to have the courage to go after these people, period. I'm not sure if they're willing to go after them, period. And they should. If they're making things that are irresponsible to this United States, or if they're stirring up trouble and stirring up anti-American sentiment, that's not good. And that's where I believe the line has been crossed by at least a number of them. No doubt in my mind. Jerry, thank you very much. 1-800-848-9222 will continue after the break.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This is Charlie. He's my part rescue dog, part whirlwind. Half of his breakfast always ends up on the floor. And he leaves fur everywhere. That's why I grabbed the Bissell Power Clean Fur Finder. It's cordless, powerful, and actually finds fur you don't even see. If you've got a pet like Charlie, you've got fur everywhere. The Power Clean Fur Finder gets that. Discover how Power Clean Fur Finder makes pet cleanups effortless at Bissell.com.
The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue with your calls, guys. 1-800-848-9222. And this is the Rita Cosby Show. Let's go to Larry in Tampa on line 3. Go ahead, Larry.
Hi, Rita. As a District of Columbia lawyer, I would strongly advise President Trump to issue warnings to the NYPD not to follow illegal orders issued by Mayor Mamdani to arrest President Netanyahu, because the United States Marshals have the authority to use deadly force against an NYPD on behalf of the State Department.
That's a very good point, Larry. You're right. He should actually put out that word, whether they get illegal orders about that or who knows what else. I mean, who does Mamdani think he is? He's a New York mayor, and he's what, going to arrest Netanyahu?
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Grabbing the holidays by the boughs with Duluth. Step 1. Hire a mall Santa to handle snow removal.
Ho, ho, ho! My sciatica!
Step 2. Hit Duluth Trading and load up on fire hose pants, buck naked underwear, pocket pack bibs, free swinging flannel, and all kinds of ingenious gear you won't find anywhere else. Grab the holidays by the boughs and shop Duluth Trading. Online and in-store.
From writer-director Ryan Johnson.
The Holy Grail. A perfectly impossible crime.
Wake Up Dead Man has critics singing its praises.
God help me. Anything else?
It's a deliciously entertaining mystery.
That's nice.
It's certified fresh.
It's a miracle.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
It's the best Knives Out movie yet.
This case is solvable, right?
Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery starring Daniel Craig. Now playing on Netflix.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Rita Cosby is on. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, this is a classic, and it's coming from Minnesota. Remember that daycare scandal, and it's all tied to the Somalis. They believe $9 billion may have been part of this big sham taking place in Minnesota. Well, in Minneapolis, it's called the Quality Learning Center, but it said Luring Center. They obviously didn't even know how to spell. And it was a daycare, supposedly. And then we saw Nick Shirley, who's an independent investigative journalist, show up at that location. He shows up and there's nobody there. They misspelled it. The doors are closed. Nobody's inside. They won't even talk to him. And this is where a whole bunch of money was going. Well, now it turns out, this is interesting. This is the day, of course, that it's been flagged by that viral video. That viral video has gotten millions upon millions of hits around the globe. Also, the FBI and DHS are investigating. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. A resident has now said at the site there that there was actually some people showing up and that kids were actually seen there at the location. And this is a neighbor of that learning center. The neighbor says this is the first time they've actually seen kids at that center. Meanwhile, that center has been getting tons of money from the federal government, our money, taxpayer money. And yet it's the first day that they've actually seen kids show up at that location. Suddenly, trucks of children are showing up a day after that viral video, the video that went around the world showing what looked like a sham. And the neighbor says, never seen kids go in there until today. So suddenly kids are being paraded, I guess, from the neighborhood. Hey, can you show up there? We would appreciate it. You can't make this one up. Meantime, also, we're talking about Zohran Mamdani, who is about to take over New York City, the biggest city in America, a Democratic Socialist, someone who has anti-Semitic comments clearly in his past, also anti-police clearly in his past, and his actions so far show that that's where he's headed in the future. Let's not forget what Zohran Mamdani said not that long ago. This is right before October 7th. Essentially pushing for globalizing the Intifada. Here he is.
So who is ready to end the exception? I want to hear you say, not on our dime! Not on our dime!
That's incredible. That guy is about to be mayor of New York City. The guy who's screaming there, remember he was also screaming at Tom Homan, screaming about ICE. And now he wants to still arrest Netanyahu. He doesn't want the NYPD to cooperate with ICE. This is going to be a bumpy ride, guys. And here is Zohran Mamdani. Remember this word salad he was asked? This is before the election. He's sitting there on New York One, and Errol Lewis, the host there on New York One, is like, okay, can you explain, globalize the Intifada? And Zohran Mamdani gave new appreciation for the phrase word salad. Listen to this.
At least one of those meetings, you said that you would discourage the use of the slogan, globalize the Intifada. And I know you've been asked about this a million times. Let me just throw in my 2 cents. I was actually in Israel for the first time during the second Intifada. It was a traumatic, horrible, violent time. You could see where storefronts had been blown out. You had to open your bags everywhere. There was a lot of tension. The streets were deserted, streets that were normally lively. We know, and it lasted for years, that thousands of people, both Palestinians and Israelis, died before they got some kind of a treaty to sort of dial back some of the violence. It was just a horrible, horrible time. And as you know, as you've heard, a lot of people are traumatized by that word. It brings back a lot of really, really bad memories. I was just a visitor, but there are people who have lived with much worse. Obviously, as part of your job as mayor, you would need to sort of dial back the temperature, bring people together. Where are we now in that conversation, and what else might you want to say about that particular phrase?
Errol, I've thought about this quite a lot, and for some New Yorkers, this phrase is one that refers to civil disobedience and protest, a call to end the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land. But I know that for many Jewish New Yorkers, it brings to mind images of the like that you were speaking of. I was sitting with a rabbi not too long ago who told me how the same phrase is heard very differently by her. And it's heard as a reference to bus bombings in Haifa, restaurant attacks in Jerusalem, and it engenders a fear in her and in others of the possibility of those very attacks coming home here in New York City. And that distance between what some intend and what others hear is a bridge that is too far. And it is why I have not used the phrase, and it is why I discourage its use. And my focus is on building a movement for justice and equality. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, I think often of the words of Noy Katzman, who lost their brother in the horrific war crime of October 7th. And Noy said, we must believe in all life, Israeli and Palestinian, Jewish and Arab, that it is equally precious. And that is the vision that I hope to fulfill.
The question is, globalize the Intifada. He should say it's disgusting. It's horrible what happened. But then he goes to this, well, the Palestinians, this, let's bring it in. Let's do that. And then he says he doesn't use it. Even though he's used it, I mean, this is just, we're in for we're going to need like a dictionary to interpret this guy when he gets in. He's going to be word salad city. And if you look at some of the people already on his transition team, we talked about the latest member there. That individual is supposed to be on the work justice sort of committee. Well, that person has called police piggies in the past and killers and a whole bunch of other things. I would say we're in for a very bumpy ride, America and New York. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Alice in Ohio on line 4. Go ahead, Alice.
Hello, Rita. Happy New Year. Rita, I I think January 6th, bringing it up again, is political smoke and mirrors. We need to really concentrate watching what's happening in New York. I think your incoming mayor is a mini-me of what's going on in the area where I live. It's dangerous. I also feel like he is a puppet. They're pulling his strings. There are other influences that are telling him what to do. He has been well-schooled, and he's a silver-tongued devil. He's scary as hell. I've lived in other parts of the world and worked in other parts of the world. I turned 84 today.
Happy birthday, Alice. Happy birthday. Wow, you sound great.
Thank you. Well, thank you. And I want my 85th birthday to see better for this country. I am so upset about what is happening here. We are losing our country. We need the country, the country needs to watch New York because it could spread to the rest of the country.
And by the way, let's not forget, it's already spreading to the country. You look at Katie Wilson. What about in Seattle? Remember, she's starting also. And, she's got some really crazy positions. With her, when I look at her, she's like she's also Democratic Socialist. She's clearly in this very ultra progressive, hard left, far left position. But when I hear Mamdani with some of this anti-Semitic vitriol and the screaming and the shouting, it's really frightening. He reminds me of the crazy protesters that, you feel will do anything to get their point across. And you see these crazy screaming protesters shouting at people and screaming at Judaic students or Judaic parishioners who are trying to get into the temple like they did in New York not that long ago. And yet, a representative from Mamdani didn't have a problem with that, thought it was a First Amendment free speech. That's not free speech when you terrorize people. And the problem is he comes from that mindset, Alice, where he's part of the group. He's been one of these protesters out there. He was the guy leading the charge on a lot of these protests, especially screaming also at Tom Homan. Tom, what? I mean, this is a guy who's now sitting there in the mayor's office. It's stunning to me. It really is. And it's so like that screaming and shouting and all that stuff is beneath the dignity of the office. And yet he was elected, and we got to see what's going to happen because next year is, of course, the governor's race. Will Kathy Hochul keep him in check? Will somebody else get elected, like a Bruce Blakeman, a Republican, get in check to be able to rein in Mamdani? Donald Trump's going to try to rein in Mamdani. There's no doubt about it. But this is going to be a mess, Alice.
It's beyond a mess. They're communists. They're not socialists. They're all over the country. They need to be reined in. Who is advising them? Someone contributed financially to his election. Who are they? And he has to pay them back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Although, the thing that's interesting, sometimes politicians, I believe, do obviously, overreach. And they do anything after somebody says, oh, I'll give you this, and then they expect the favor. The problem I have with Mamdani, I think he agrees with a lot of these people who are radical extremists. Because to my point, he's still hanging around a lot of them. The Mahmoud Khalil guy who was leading the student protests, remember, at Columbia, who sort of became the poster child, everybody knew who he was. And then he showed up at Mamdani's victory party. He was being praised at Mamdani's victory party. So these are the kind of people that he's going to be embracing. I'm waiting for Abrego Garcia, the Maryland father of four, Alice, to be invited. It's like everybody else has become all the like crazy characters that you would put in one place. He seems to embrace them and herald them and put them on a pedestal. And that's really concerning. That is really I don't think to your point, I don't think he is regretting any sort of favor of anybody who, gave him money or extremists, because I think he believes with them, Alice. He's a true believer.
He was raised with this. This is part of him.
Yep.
And do you remember the rallies that he had? They were loud. Do you remember the drum beats? You know, the bang, 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 bang. It's raising people's blood pressure. They're getting them all excited and all riled up. They're going out after the youth.
Yeah. It is. You're right. They're stirring up the youth, stirring that cauldron up, and they're very susceptible, unfortunately. And that's what I worry about. I worry about more of them getting galvanized after this guy becomes mayor of New York in, sadly, a matter of days. Alice, let's stay in touch because there's going to be certainly a lot to talk about. Alice, thank you very, very much. Let's go to Michael in New Jersey on line 5. Michael, your thoughts tonight.
Yeah, here's what I would do if I was the president, or what Trump should do. I would invite the Mayor Salami to the White House, and I would tell him, here's the deal. Basically, you don't want me as president. I'm going to give you the opportunity to get rid of me. Here's what's going to happen. The day after you're the mayor, I'm going to invite the Prime Minister of Israel to the United States, specifically to New York, specifically to come to the United Nations. Now, if you can get your policeman to lock him up with me standing there together with 50 U.S. federal marshals to guard him, I will resign as president of the United States, because I don't believe the police are going to go against me and those U.S. Marshals. But if you can't do it, if you cannot do it, then you have to resign as the mayor of the city of New York. Now, I'm willing to put my job on the line. Are you willing to take that gamble? Are you willing to make that bet? Because I'm doing it in front of reporters. I'm telling you, I will resign. You want me out of office? I will leave office. And disgraced. You will leave office disgraced. Are you willing to take me up on that? And of course, he's going to say no. Then I would say to him, well, then I have one thing to say to you, and that is, buck, 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 buck,
Michael, I love it. I love it. I just have to ask you, Michael, how long have you been planning that chicken line? Because that's a good one.
Well, every time I think of him, with all the things he says he's going to do that are never going to happen, what his followers should do, because he promised them that he was going to do it, and now he went back on his word. That's what they should do to him. They should say, hey, what happened to the free sub? Well, I can't give you the free subway and free buses. What happened to the ceiling on rents? You said you're not going to let the people raise the rent? Well, I can't do that either. Whatever keep doing it to his face. You know how humiliating that is? He'll probably walk away red as a fire engine.
I love it. By the way, Michael, I love it. I think you got some great lines there. We might need to hear that a little bit more in the coming weeks, because we'll see. I mean, he's made a lot of promises. How he's going to pay for it, you're right. And I'm also worried if he does deliver even on some of these things. I mean, free buses means also criminals sleeping on the buses too. People don't realize that. Getting rid of the homeless encampments. He said he plans to keep them where they are. Adams said he did the sweeps, which was the way to go, especially it's freezing cold outside. It's not a good idea to have them outside. It's not a good idea for the community. He said he's going to keep them. He's going to stop the sweeps. So in other words, keep them there. I'm worried he's going to deliver on that. That's going to be a disaster for New York. And we'll be happy to use your bok, bok, bok. That was pretty good, Michael. That was very, very good. You got to call again because you got some good sound effects, and I love it. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from Hilton Head, South Carolina, where millions of Americans use the airport to get to their holiday destination. But in one of those instances, it happened at Hilton Head Island Airport, and many showed up to honor World War II veteran Private First Class Dan Antonin. The 100-year-old veteran, flew into the Low Country with his daughter and was met with cheers and American flags. They greeted him at the airport. How beautiful. The World War II veteran served 2.5 years in the U.S. Army, and he spent 5 months deployed in Europe. And representatives from the American Legion Post and the Military Officers Association of America were the ones who greeted him in the terminal. The hero's welcome, by the way, didn't end at the terminal. As the veteran was wheeled outside, he was shown a classic Cadillac Eldorado that was his ride to his holiday destination. How beautiful to see this member of the greatest generation honored so powerfully. And everybody, help America to never, ever forget. Donate just $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. It is the best way to celebrate this holiday season and to give back and start the new year. I can't think of a better way to do it. Check them out at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. Retirement isn't just about closing out your career. It's living the life you've always dreamed of. With New York Life, you get the financial guidance to make it real. Start today at NYL.com.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go straight to your calls. Let's go to Meredith in Oregon on line 2. Go ahead, Meredith.
Oh, I'm very nervous. I just wanted to ask the 77 WABC listeners to join together and write their names down and put it together someplace.
About what?
So that, pardon me?
About what? About what?
About everything. Voting for Mamdani. A lot of New Yorkers, what they see and what they're learning about this guy, they need to talk to their kids who are calling in and saying that they're doing this just to spite their parents. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible situation. I'm on the other side of the coast from you guys.
Yeah, but then you got Katie Wilson over there too on your side. I mean, that's the other thing. And she was, I guess her parents were paying, I think, for her child care. So you got a lot of issues going on there. But Meredith, I am so glad you're sounding the alarm, because you do have to look inside and say, why did you vote for this guy? Do you realize what he could do to destroy New York? Do you realize what he could do to destroy the NYPD? Pray for New York. We'll talk tomorrow, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to The Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.